Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Rick, while you're celebrating a win by one of your cars, the number 5 could have been in contention to have won today and involved in the incident with the 1. It's the third time he's been damaged by the 1, and either directly or indirectly the last month. Has Ross Chastain crossed a line?
I think you can ask any driver in here that he's wrecked or been involved with him. He doesn't have to be that aggressive. And I guess at this point in the race, maybe you're super aggressive, but you just don't run people up in the fence or, he's gonna make a lot of enemies. It's hard to win a championship when you got a lot of paybacks out there. And he's got so much talent. I think if he just calmed down, that there's a time in the race, Dale Earnhardt Sr. told me one time, he said, I won't name the driver who drove for me, but he said, he's got all the talent. He just doesn't know how to race. And meaning he just knows when to race, when to push it. He's got a lot of talent, but he's making a lot of enemies out here. And I mean, Kyle now, this one in Dover, and it's getting Talladega. It's really getting old with these guys.
And obviously these guys are competitors, but this is another Chevrolet driver. So
I don't care if he's driving a Chevrolet if he wrecks our cars. I don't care. And I've told Chevrolet that. If you wreck us, you're going to get it back. And if you don't do it, they'll run all over you. So, I'm loyal to Chevrolet, but when somebody runs over us, then I expect my guys to hold their ground. And I'm not going to ask them to yield just because it's a Chevrolet.
And one last thing, thank you, is do you have to get involved, or is this all about Kyle? I know Kyle typically is not a confrontational type of person. That's not in his nature. Is that something that needs to be discussed at a higher level, or is that something that Kyle's just got to stick him in the wall at some point?
Well, I would think Justin would have a conversation and say, we're going to, it's going to be hard. Again, if you have a lot of people, wanting to pay you back, then it's hard to win a championship that way. And he's got talent enough to do that. And but we don't want to get knocked out of. If you look at the points that Larson's lost because of that, and the race here today, I mean, it's just I think somewhere in the stages he was all over Larson. So I mean, we can't. The drivers have to settle that. Whatever I say to the owners or NASCAR. NASCAR wants to get in it. They did with Jeff Bodine and Dale Earnhardt when I was going through all that, and they put a stop to it.
But this hasn't reached that
level. And this is just not between two guys, So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. Kind of a follow-up question to this. Cliff Daniels said over the radio, maybe this is just him kind of venting, but he did say he wanted Chevrolet to step in, or at least hinted at it strongly, that Chevrolet should step in. Is that something that you would like to see happen, just to kind of maybe cool everything down a little bit?
Well, I don't know if Chevrolet can cool it down. I don't know that. That's not the way they usually operate. It's either NASCAR or the drivers or the owners. But, you've heard the pit crew say before, hey, we like it. We don't care if people like us. We're here to run over and win. But, if it doesn't change, he's going to have a hard time winning a championship.
And this question's for Jeff. Jeff, I think it's fair to say, Kyle's a mild-mannered driver for the most part. He's not somebody who's going to go out there and shove people around, that kind of thing. Is that something you have to kind of push for him to do, to kind of respond to this a little bit, or is that something that it's just not his nature?
Well, yeah, Kyle's got to work within what he's comfortable with, and some people are really comfortable pushing and shoving and have no issue spinning guys or putting them in the fence. And Kyle's a guy that you have a lot of respect for him because of the way he races, and but he knows when to be aggressive too. So I think it depends on what's on the line. When it's maybe for the championship, if that's what it's going to take. But I think Kyle is the kind of guy that, if he leans on somebody, he's going to make sure both of you come out the other end. That's his kind of responsibility in the way he carries himself. So obviously having multiple incidences, and it's a long list that Ross is now a part of. But I don't anticipate Kyle changing the way that he races guys, knowing Kyle the way I do.